Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Come on in. Sit right down. Say hello to the person next to you if you haven't met them before. So this is our virtual high fives, virtual elbow bumping. So this is part of our series, and I see there's a standing room only. Yeah, well, I know some of you are not standing. Let me just say that, but you're upstanding probably. So this is part of our series where we're talking about different ways of making money using the internet and social media. And once again, we're very grateful to have Brian Clark of Known University to come and talk with us. He comes from Zillow, and as you might guess, Zillow usually just hires the top of the industry because they can, afford that, because all of you guys are paying them money, right? Isn't that right? Which is how they can afford to hire good talent. But he's left the Zillow and he's now working with thousands of agents across the United States, automating their systems and increasing the return on their investment. And today he's going to share some secrets about automating KW Command and also automating kvCORE. And with enough wasting time, I'm going to turn it over to Brian now.
Absolutely, and thank you very much. And again, I appreciate you having me on board here. Today we're going to go through how to create an ad in the Keller Williams Command database inside of that platform. I did not get permissions back from one of my clients to go ahead and use their their command for today to build this out. The good thing is I do have a video that I previously got permissions for, so I'll be sharing that with you guys so that we can just do a walkthrough on how to build an ad inside of Keller Williams Command for a listing. And then I'm going to teach you guys how to build an ad inside of kvCORE that's going to show you how to use that catalog IDX and really take everything A to Z. So I need to kick this off. We're limited on time and I want to make sure that you guys can get through all of it. So is my screen sharing right now, Mike?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and click play on this. I'm going to bring it back to the beginning and get started. For some reason, that's giving me an issue. All right, we're going to hit play from here. All right, it appears we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty. I'm going to refresh my screen and try this again.
Hey everybody, so today we are going to build some ads inside of campaigns of Keller Williams Command. So pretty exciting stuff. First thing we need to do is actually go down to the campaign section, which you guys should already know from watching the walkthrough video, just explaining where everything is, what everything does. But we will go into campaigns. You will first see this dashboard, and you can either click create new campaign from here. You can go to paid ads. You can create a campaign from any section here. So just go ahead and click create a new campaign in the top right corner, and we're going to do a social ad that is paid. Now for today's video, we are going to be doing this on 6009 Aqua Blue Court, and so we're going to advertise one listing. So it breaks it down, makes life pretty easy for you. Are you going to advertise a listing? Are you going to advertise multiple? Are you attracting listings, attracting talent, brand awareness, event awareness, like open houses? Maybe you're having a buyer presentation or a first-time buyer class for events. You can attract buyers, or you can do other. So what you can do with this platform doesn't have a lot of limitations when it comes to the types of ads that real estate agents are going to need to use and run to build their database up and start to dominate and grow leads. So we're going to click advertise listing, and we want this to be on Facebook and Instagram. You can also add Twitter in there if you want, but I'm just going to prefer to stick to Facebook and Instagram at this point in time. So you're going to see in here that we have only my listings, or you can search all listings. So go ahead and search for the listing that you're trying to find. So 6009 Blue Court. We're going to go ahead and select that listing. All right, and so now I scroll down, and this has already taken the text, the description that you have for your listing, and it plugs it into the main copy. Right now, I think it's really cool that they put that in place, but I'm actually not a huge fan of running the description in your posts. This should be a reason to get somebody to get more information about the house, right? So I mean, what I always do is I have it pulled up on an additional source where I can see info like 3 beds, 2 baths, all that good stuff. Because once you pull up the listing in the ad builder, you might not be able to see that information. So right out of the gate, there's a couple things that I see that I want to change about this. Number 1, we need to change the main copy. Number 2, we need to add in a headline. And number 3, we need to configure our media, right? So what do I mean by configure our media? Yeah, we've got a photo of the house. We want more than one. So I'm going to go ahead and configure the media first, and I'm going to add them. So we can go ahead and scroll through here, and we can select additional photos. Let's just like grab the front door, for example. Go ahead and load that in. We'll save that, then we'll go ahead and add the next image. Let's go ahead and move into the living room. And we'll hit save. Go ahead and add the next. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to find images that really stand out to me. So there's like, without having any furniture or anything like that in this home, it's really going to hinder your ability to pop for your potential clients. So if this isn't your listing that you're advertising, I recommend finding homes that are well staged and something that's going to appeal to a buyer, especially if it's been staged, photos have been removed, it's been decluttered, all that good stuff. You want to make sure that those buyers can feel at home before they even click on the listing, right? Before they even submit their information. You want them to be able to feel like they're at home when they're monitoring this. I'm going to use this image, get the kitchen in there. I'll bring that down right there. Save image. Now you can only add up to 5 images. It's like this image right here, I'm actually going to get rid of this. So I'm going to change this image out. And let's grab something from maybe aerial with a backyard. And having solar panels on there, that's green. It's going to be appealing to some folks. So let's go ahead and save that image. Okay, and I'm going to drag this image and I'm going to move it all the way to the end because I want that to be the last thing that anyone sees is the backyard. Now you're allowed to upload 5 photos when you're doing a carousel on here. And from our own research, we found between 5 and 7 carousel images is what typically sees the best performance. So Command, it seems like they had a little bit of intel on that, and they made sure that they stuck to 5 images on the carousel. The thing is once you get to like 8, 9, 10 images, it just gives you the ability to keep scrolling and keep scrolling and keep scrolling, and you're eventually going to scroll right on past. So if you have 5 images, people are going to want to see more of that house if it catches their eye. It's something that really fits the bill of what they're looking for. So they're either going to fill out their information, submit a form, or they're going to click through and go to your website, depending on what type of ad you decide to set up with this, right? So our goal, we're doing advertised listing, but here's the thing. When you are creating this advertised listing inside of Command, you can do this to where you're sending them to directly to a website, or you can set it up to where you're sending them to a lead form, right? And lead forms, in our experience with Facebook, is going to be the best bang for your buck because they are searching for folks that are actively going to fill out that form and provide you with their information. Whereas if you're just looking for a traffic, which when you're driving someone to your website on Facebook, that is considered a traffic ad. It's just somebody that's going to go and search and browse your website. Doesn't mean they're going to make a purchase. Doesn't mean they're targeting folks that are going to be taking the action necessary to purchase a home in the near future. They are legitimately only targeting folks that are going to click and peruse your website for anywhere from a minute to 5 minutes. And you know, that is definitely a good thing, right? You want folks to search for real estate on your website, and you want them to continue to shop for homes and be able to utilize your platform. If they like what they see and they keep coming back, they're going to provide you with their information at some point in time. But what we found is if you capture their information up front, you can set up safe search alerts and start re-engaging them with safe search alerts and drive them right back into your page. You can also set up retargeting campaigns for your database with command. And once they become a lead, they are now in your database, so you can re-engage them. So I highly recommend focusing on lead generation first versus driving them to your website to search for homes, because you're going to have a lot of folks that you're paying for to come to your website that don't end up providing their information to you, and you just miss out on that listing. So I recommend getting their info right out of the gate, right up front. So as you can see, this is the description on this home, and this is exactly what is placed in here. I'm going to get rid of this. You know, I found that with Facebook, the more short and sweet your copy is, the better results you get. And no matter what you end up doing, it all boils down to a numbers game, right? So 1 out of 50 leads on Facebook is what you should be looking at for somebody to purchase a home within the next 3 to 6 months. So you want to make sure that you're acquiring those leads for the smallest amount possible, right? Now, if we do things like shorten up our ad copy and make our headline descriptive of the home without giving away too many details, it gives us a much better opportunity at winning that, right? So let's just say searching for a new home in Las Vegas. We have the listing for you. All right, so now for the headline, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the number of beds, baths, and the price, and this is what I'm going to put in here. So if you actually just do this just like how Zillow does, 3 BD, 2 bath, 2 BA, you'll be able to fit all of this in one line. 2 BA, then the price, which was $334.99. All right, I just want to double check that. $334,999,000. $334,999,000. Okay, and then for the description here, this is a tricky one. I actually take the address and plug the address in here. Right, so this is legitimately, somebody starts searching on here, they are just going to see this home that's for sale. Right, one of the things that I really like that Keller Williams does that makes this a little bit more simplistic is that they will take every single one of your carousel cards and they'll provide the exact same headline and description for that. So you don't have to go through and put a new description in on every single card, which can be a little bit of a pain. And I've seen several times where agents have missed a card. You know, you're scrolling through and you've got 3 bed, 2 bath, and then this one will be completely blank, and then this one will be 3 bed, 2 bath, the description. So it alleviates any margin of error from that, which is really good. All right, so our main ad is set up that quick, right? So all we have to do now is scroll down. We're going to click the ad media. We know which media we're using, right? And it's very important to make sure that at this time you have a logo uploaded. So if you have a blank screen here, your logo is not uploaded, I would go ahead and double click here. It will pop up a file so that you can load your logo. You won't be able to continue unless you have the logo uploaded here. Now, your Dba logo position is going to be determined on your photos, right? So as you can see, I do have a disclaimer on the left side of my photos here. So I want my logo to be on the right, so that way it's just more aesthetically pleasing, it stands out, it looks better, right? I would also add in and include this ownership statement, so you can check or uncheck this box. I always like to include it because each office is independently owned and operated, and typically your broker wants that to be disclosed. Sometimes Keller Williams requires it as well. So all we have to do here, now that we've gone ahead and added the media in, is click Save Media. Now we're going to move down to Facebook and Instagram ads. Right, so this section, you need to select the account and the page that you're going to use. So you're going to see a drop down of hopefully just one page, but if you're like us, we have hundreds, which is why I'm actually doing this on my fiance's account. She was very nice to agree to let me do this with her Facebook, but I added my fiance onto my client's account so that I only have one page to choose from. I have thousands that we work with in our business, and so I had to actually use someone else's account to do this because the client's page didn't populate. Right, so in here, you just select your account, you select your page. Under Instagram ad position, you don't really need to worry about this, and I'm going to show you why once we get to the bottom, right? Because we're going to use Facebook's automatic placements. And what that means is Facebook is going to place your ad out there into every single placement that it can. And based on the results that you're getting from those placements, they're actually going to start turning off placements, and it's going to quit spending ad dollars towards them. So essentially, Facebook's algorithm is going to put forth the best formula to get you leads. All right. Now we are going to select use Facebook lead generation form, and the button, the call to action, is going to be learn more. You can say sign up, you can say apply now. I recommend learn more because it's much less invasive, right? Now you want to also make sure that your follow-up destination URL is the URL of your website. You want to drive them to your website to search. So make sure that that is your follow-up destination there. Below, when we look at targeting, right? So we've gone and we've added in Las Vegas, Nevada. If you just start typing in here, it will populate. So Las Vegas, Nevada, it's right there. We have a 15-mile radius. This is just targeting a specific audience on Facebook, right? So we would go down below and we would add in interests. These are the interests I recommend that you use. Zillow, Trulia, Homes.com, Realtor.com. I would also add in, we're going to see house hunting populate here. House hunting. Don't do house, it's too big. Let's do pre-qualification. See if this populates. No spaces, just pre-qualification lending. So it's anybody that's inquired on pre-qualification for lending or has an interest in that. So anybody that's looking into mortgages, things like that. Definitely some good stuff to have in there. All right, let's see if we can find property search or property finder. There we go. So property finder, luxury property, and real property. So these are what I would add in. So we've got all of these selections here. So we are targeting custom audience, right? If you want to target your database, you can. And you can set things up to where if you tag each one of your leads properly and you add neighborhoods into the opportunities, this can really give you a leg up when it comes to targeting on your ads and getting in front of your potential clients, right? Or your current database. So we're going to go ahead and save on Facebook and Instagram. And then we're going to check our budget. So our budget is going to be $11.25 a day total, right? Somewhere between $9 and $12 is typically going to be the secret sauce for your market. Always check Facebook.com /ads/library, because you may have a lot of ads running in your market at one point in time. You can do that by selecting housing here and then type in your market, Las Vegas. So let's see what we've got. We're gonna go based off of city in Las Vegas, and we can see we have about 2,000 results. So $11 a day is going to give us exactly what we need in this particular market. So you should be good to go. Save duration and budget, and then we're just going to publish the campaign, hit create campaign, and you're going to see it go live on the next page.
Awesome. So that is going to cover how we would actually go in and create an ad inside of Keller Williams Command. As you guys can see, it's extremely straightforward and just to the point. It's very, very simplistic. Command makes it so that you don't have all of these additional things that you could click on or change or adjust. They've just kind of found that formula that makes the ad work and provides you with leads at a much lower cost. Right now, there's a couple of things inside of Command's platform that I don't really agree with personally, and it kind of boils down to the Facebook forums themselves, because I always like to ask additional questions in those Facebook forums so that we can give our leads the opportunity to tell us more about them, what they're looking for, so that we have a better opportunity to convert that lead over when we have a conversation with them and go ahead and close them down. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to dive into kvCORE, and I'm going to show you guys how to create a catalog inside of kvCORE where you can utilize your listings, and I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to go ahead and log into Mike's account here, and once we're logged in, we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, the first thing that I want you guys to know is that inside real estate, I believe it's support.com.insiderealestate.com. Inside Real Estate provides a ton of different things and articles where you can go and do awesome, cool things with that kvCORE platform. So the one that you would be looking for inside of support is called third-party syndication. So I'm just going to type in third party here and see if that loads. If it doesn't, then I'll type in syndication and search for it. All right, so here it is, third-party data syndication. So what this is going to do is it's going to give us the ability to create a catalog inside of Facebook with all of the listings that we have able and ready to display per our marketplace. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and scroll down on this page, and we've got a Facebook format here. So what we want to do is copy this Facebook format and note on here. It's really important that you notice this last section. So we need to install the Zapier key here from your command or from your kvCORE, and it needs to be finished with /7. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in for Mike really fast so that we can do this. Where you would find your Zapier key inside of kvCORE is going to be under lead engine, and then we're going to go to lead Dropbox right here. So once we're in lead Dropbox, under lead engine, you'll see the Zapier key. We're just going to click copy next to this key right here. Now I'm going to add that into this URL and /7, and I'm going to hit enter. Now, the reason I'm loading this up right now is because I want an idea of how many listings we have in this marketplace that we can utilize and we can run. And so every single one of these with the URL with images, these are images for individual listings. So it looks like we have a good amount of listings that are EXP in this marketplace that we can run on this kvCORE platform and in Facebook. Now, if you do not have or are not with a brokerage like EXP or Samson Realty or Florida Homes Mortgage and Real Estate, you may not have a large amount of listings that are going to be at your disposal. So it really depends on the brokerage that you work with, how many listings you own, and how many listings other agents that are in that brokerage in your location own as well to be the determining factor. The good thing is EXP is pretty large. So in most marketplaces, you are going to have the ability to have a ton of listings that you can run, but there are one-off markets here and there in rural areas where there just aren't as many agents. So you're limited. So KW command does have a little bit of advantage in those super rural areas, but don't let that shy you away. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this URL. What we're going to do is dive into our Facebook Business Manager. Let me do this on another screen so that I don't show one of my other clients' info. And I'm going to go ahead and get this pulled up really fast. One moment. And I'll pop back to here for right now. And I'll have that in just a second, you guys. Sorry, please bear with me. I'm loading it up in another page. All right, so. So where we are going to want to go from here is going to be on the main Facebook section. We are going to want to scroll down and we need to find catalogs. So give me one moment. Here we go, Commerce Manager. So we click on the Commerce Manager and it's going to ask us to add shop or catalog. What I do is I go to add catalog down here. So if we click add catalog, this is going to give us the ability to create a real estate specific catalog where we can go and then run listings. So we're going to click on real estate from here and click next. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to keep this under Beano University as an owner for right now, and I'm going to name this as Michael Devlin. The next thing we're going to do once we've named it is we're going to click create, and now the catalog has been finished. We need to then go ahead and open up the catalog, and then this is going to give us the ability to add in specific things. So the first thing that we want to do on the left is go down to data sources, and we need to go ahead and add an item to this. So you have several different options. If you use scheduled feed, this is going to automatically import listings at a time frame that you choose. So we're going to click scheduled feed. We're going to enter in that URL that we just copied over, and I'm going to delete this stuff because you do not need a username or password on it. We're going to click next. Now, once we have clicked next after we pasted in that IDX feed from kvCORE, what we're going to go ahead and do is make sure that this is set up so that we are uploading this every single hour. So if a listing comes off the market, it's going to pull from the catalog. If a listing goes on the market, it's going to populate into the catalog. So this is going to give you the ability to keep an evergreen ad running where you don't have to make any changes or updates to it, and it's going to consistently perform time and time again for you. So what we'll do here is go ahead and click next. You can name this data source. So I'm going to name this Mike Devlin EXP listings, and we're going to go ahead and upload. So this will take a little bit of time. It's going to go through a verification process and pull all of that data in to validate it. And then once the data is validated, it's going to let us know how many listings we have that are available to market right there in Mike's backyard. So as you can see, we've got 145 home listings that are found in file, and it's almost complete. So now we've got 145 home listings that we can use and run in advertisements so that we can pick up potential buyers. I would cover some sellers for you guys as well right now. I just don't have enough time today, but that's something that Mike and I could definitely hop on and talk about here in the future. So we'll let this process, and we're just going to wait until it says that the upload is completed, which when I'm sharing my screen, it does take a little bit longer for things to load on the platform. So just keep that in mind. And if anybody has that Jeopardy music in the background, just go ahead and play that or just listen to it in your head. So we can close this page anytime. It's not going to, it won't stop our products from being uploaded. Looks like there we've gone ahead and completed it. So the next thing we're going to do is click on sets. So what sets is going to do is it's going to provide us with all of the different homes that are out there and actively available for us to advertise. The reason that I like to go into sets is because you may take on a buyer for, let's say, like a $240,000 home, but it might not be the buyer that you really want to work with, especially in today's climate where you're putting in 10, 15, 20 offers with an individual buyer. It may be more advantageous for you to focus on the higher dollar amounts of those listings. So what we can actually do here under this is you can go ahead and create a set in the top right corner. When we click create set, we're going to name this, I'm just going to name this over 750K. That way there's a little more meat on the bone and it gives us a better opportunity to close a higher end listing. Now you're going to see that we have filters down below, and you can click in this drop down, and what we're going to select is going to be price. So, and we want to make sure that it's greater than, so I'm going to say 749, 123. I'm going to hit enter. So we have 108 listings that are over that $750,000 mark that are available for us to market. Now, when I first look at this list, it looks really good right out of the gate, but you may also, depending on your location, how far you want to drive, you may also want to break this down by additional cities, locations, and areas. So you can see Mountain View has 2 listings, Monterey has 2, Oakland has 3 or 1, Redwood City has 4. If you were to go and type in additional locations here, they will populate as they are available and where there are available listings that are there. So I just want you guys to know, when you create these for yourselves, make sure that you're selecting cities that are within your location and around you. Now, I don't have a ton of time to wrap this up today, so we're gonna go with the price point larger than 500. If you wanted to, you could also add in an additional price point to cap that if you chose to. Say, for example, if you're running like a down payment assistance ad and your marketplace has a limit on what those individuals can purchase. So I know some markets it's 350,000, others it's 450. Washington State, there's no cap for a first-time homeowner. So just make sure that you're following those guidelines for whatever ad type you are creating. Now, all we have to do at the bottom, once we've got all of our filters defined that we want, is go ahead and click create. Once we've created it, you're going to see that it's available right here. Now, from this catalog, you can actually go ahead and click advertise set, and we need to select the correct account that we're going to be advertising through. So give me one moment. I'm going to actually do this, I believe, in one of my test accounts, just so that I can walk you guys through this. And it's going to take a second to load. We've got a lot of data in here. Sorry guys, we have so many clients. I'm gonna actually scroll back up because I think I may have missed it. I'm gonna use this welcome home. So we're gonna go ahead and click next. And what this is going to do is it's going to give us, right out of the gate, it's gonna help us create this ad from right here. And for some reason it gave me the wrong ad account. Sorry, bear with me. So since I'm doing this just as a test, I'm gonna go ahead and grab Tony really fast. And we'll walk you through this really quick just so that you can see how quickly it's done. So ad creative, the first thing we want to do here, this is going to be the ad text. It's going to be the main text of your ad. And this is actually all changed, so this is new. That's pretty exciting. I'm going to actually jump out of here and I'm going to create this in a different way for you guys so that we can get a little bit better understanding of how this works, because that Facebook did just change how those ad sets are created in there. And I don't want to get you guys started off on the wrong foot. So give me 1 second while I get this pulled up. All right. So what we're going to go ahead and do, oh, whoops, grab the wrong account. So what we're going to go ahead and do is click on this create really quick. So I'm going to log in here. And we're going to click create to create a new ad. So we want to run a lead generation campaign, and we're going to go ahead and click this drop down, and we're going to name this BKA test catalog ad. And I like to keep things consistent, so I'm going to run this as the ad set name and as the ad name. When reporting pulls in, it just shows everywhere is that catalog ad, so it just makes things a little bit more simplistic. So we're going to go ahead and click continue. And the first thing that we are going to do on here is we need to make sure that we select special ad category, and we need to do a drop down and select housing. If you do not select housing for your special ad category, it is then going to go ahead and reject your ad immediately. It won't pass go, it won't collect $200. It's just going to get rejected. It won't even really go into review because Facebook's algorithm is going to notice that this is a housing ad and it needs to be selected there. So we're going to go ahead and click next to the next page, and you want to make sure that you have selected the right Facebook page that you're going to be using for this ad. All right, and then in the drop down, you can select the catalog that you have created. So the catalog that we just created in here is named Michael Devlin. So let's go ahead in the drop down and let's search for Michael Devlin. There we go. Now, in here, we're going to click the drop down for ad sets, and we're going to select the listings that were over 750,000. Now I'm going to show you why this is important on the next page. Facebook is automatically going to set your budget at $20. One thing that I would recommend you doing is I would start with a lower budget, but I would do a little bit of research first right out of the gate. And you can do that by going to facebook.com/ads/library. And this will give you an idea of how many people are actually advertising in your local marketplace. So if we go ahead and we click on housing, and let's just say we are looking in San Francisco. As we type that in, it will then load a city. We click the city, and right here you're going to see that we have about 4,300 results. Now that is a lot of advertisers in this space that are marketing. That's a lot of housing ads that are running, and that means that we don't have the ability to run a lower dollar amount here to get started. We aren't going to see the performance that we want. So I would say if you have less than 2,000 to 2,500 results here, start with 10 bucks. If you're over 3,000 results, start with 15 or 20. And so Facebook's gone ahead and said, hey, let's do $20 to start. I'm completely okay with that. And that's what I would recommend starting with. Now, as far as this custom audience detailed targeting goes, if you have uploaded custom audiences into here, you can use those. What I recommend is using a platform like Remine or Property Radar, and go ahead and go in and search for homeowner data and pull that in. Those platforms only allow you to download 10,000, a list of 10,000 homeowners at a time. So what I'd recommend is start out at your minimum price point that you want to focus with. So let's say 400,000, and then you'd plug in 402,000 for your maximum. And if your list is under 10,000, download it, move to the next list, go from 402,000 to 404,000, all the way up. That way you can pull in all the homeowner data you can and upload it into Facebook. It's time consuming, it's cumbersome, but it's gonna be so worth it because your targeting is gonna be that much better. You're gonna be targeting folks that are currently homeowners or folks that look just like homeowners. But for this video, we aren't going to add that in right now. We're just gonna go ahead and select location. If you don't select a location, it's going to target everybody that is in the United States. So we don't want to target everyone in the US. So what I'm gonna do is start typing in San Francisco, and it's going to go ahead and drop a pin. 15 miles is going to be the minimum radius that Facebook is going to allow us to advertise. Now, another thing to look at here, people living in or recently in this location. I like to focus on people living in this location. That way you're not wasting ad dollars to folks that are on vacation or visiting or doing some sightseeing, right? So I would focus on people that live in this location. The next thing that I would do is I would add in some detailed targeting. Facebook is great at finding exactly who you're looking for to purchase a home, but you can always give them a little bit of help. The more help that you give them, the better your ads are going to be. So we can actually go in and search for things like Zillow, Trulia, Realtor, Homes.com. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to add in Zillow. We're going to add in Realtor.com. We're going to add in Homes.com. We are going to add in Trulia. You can also search for things like property search or property finder, excuse me. There's some additional demographics that you can find in here as well by clicking suggestions. House hunting is good. First time home buyer is good. Anyone that's looked at a mortgage calculator is good. All of those things. But I'm going to start with just these main real estate websites that get the most traffic for folks that are searching. Now, there's a couple of different philosophies that come into play for placements on where your ad will be seen. You can do this automatic or you can do manual. I recommend automatic for newbies because what's going to happen is Facebook is going to test every single ad placement. It'll show up on a story, it'll show up in articles, it'll show up on the feed, it'll show up on the Instagram feed and Instagram search, all of those places. And then the areas that are seeing the lowest level of performance are going to be the ones that get knocked off first. So Facebook will actually turn off placements as your ad is going through and going live. Now, as you can see with that $20 spent, we're going to see roughly 396 to 1.1 thousand for reach every single day. That doesn't mean the number of impressions that you're going to get or the number of times your ad is seen. This is actually the number of individuals that will see your ad, and they could see that ad multiple times throughout that day if Facebook feels they're a person that's going to click and fill their info out. So keep that in mind. You don't want this to be less than 200 a day maximum, 400 a day maximum. This is just about perfect right here, 396 to 1,100 essentially. So now we can go ahead and click next. I'm going to take a drink of water. And I'm not going to be publishing this ad. Otherwise, I'd be making sure that we have the right Facebook page selected and all that good stuff. The first thing that you're going to want to do here is make sure that if there is an Instagram page that is available, select that. When you're running an ad on Instagram, use an Instagram account. When you're running an ad on Facebook, use a Facebook account. So that way it just makes the most sense. Now, again, same kind of principle or philosophy that we were looking at with the Keller Williams ad. I really don't like these headlines on this to give away too much info on the home. We want enough to get them synced up and diving in. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and click this drop down here. Since this is a catalog ad, you're going to see that these are dynamic and you can upload them directly in. So the first thing we're going to do is beds, and we're going to do that same thing, BD, and then we're going to go for the baths. So now we select baths, and we're going to go BA space, and I like these vertical lines. I just think they look clean, and we're going to add in price. So as you can see on the catalog here, all of these listings are going to show their number of beds, their number of baths, and their price range, and it's going to be dynamic for how those display. Now, if we go ahead and look at the description, what I like to run here is actually going to be the listing address or the street address of the property. I've found that there are certain times when if you try to use the description for the listing, sometimes agents upload it without a description or it's got minimal information on it. So I always recommend utilizing the street address in this lower section here. And then for the primary text, you can say something as simple as searching for a new home in San Francisco, question mark. Sign up, I actually prefer learn more. we've ran several tests using different call to actions, and Learn More seems to provide us with the absolute best response on those. We get the highest level of clicks on them, which then in turn turns into the best performance. So the next thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you have a lead form that is set up. Now, again, I'm not going to be running this one live. I'm just doing this for kind of a walkthrough on this. So the first thing that you're going to do is go ahead and select in here the name that you're going to use for your Facebook form. Then once you've selected the name, I would actually move over into settings. Every single form that you create is going to start out under restricted. I like these to be opened up. So what this essentially means is that when somebody's scrolling through Facebook and they see your ad, it's going to give them the ability to share that ad. So if I'm searching for a home and my fiance is a part of that decision-making process, and I find something that I like really stands out, I'm like, oh, hey, this is awesome. I got to show this off. The easiest way to do it is just share the ad directly over to her. So you want to make sure that these are opened up so that anyone can share this ad and can send it to somebody in Messenger. The next thing that you want to make sure on here is that you have a good headline that's in place. So this is actually going to be San Francisco. And as you can see, we've got a couple of things that are listed here. Get a daily list of properties, select your number of beds, baths, pick your price range, and find home. So you can do this either as a list or as a paragraph. And if you do it as a list, you would just essentially copy these and paste them in one at a time, and you would make that list that way. So again, I prefer the paragraph itself. I just think it looks a little bit cleaner than the bullet points, but it's your own preference. Now, the next thing that we're going to dive into is questions, right? So these are what I like to use for memory joggers when we call and reach out to these individual leads. So how many beds and baths does your perfect home have? You want to make sure that these selections are easy. Don't add a question where they have to provide a short answer and actually type something in. It's going to kill your click-through rate and your form fill rate on these ads. Make it as simplistic as humanly possible for them. But by adding these additional selections, it means that they can't just click on the ad, click submit, and move through. They actually have to fill some more info out other than their first name, last name, and phone number to provide the lead form. So this inherently drives up the quality of those contacts that you guys are going to see on Facebook. Now, furthermore, if they're filling out and saying, I'm looking for a 1-bed, 1-bath house in this particular price range, right? Then you have some memory joggers to use on your next call. So what you would do to create these is you would click ask question, you would select multiple choice, and then we would go ahead and type in, and let's just go ahead and add something in. So we have, when would you like to be in your home? Are you currently working with an agent? And so you can give a possible answer. So instead of test, I'm going to say yes, and then I'm going to click the add button, which will add another no. And as you can see on the right side, those are going to be available right here. So yes, no, those answers are available. Next thing you're going to want to do is separate these out. Facebook is going to bring this in with full name, email, phone number. Go with first name, last name, phone number, email. I recommend that because not all CRMs can accept full name, especially when you're working with kvCORE. You want to make sure that you have first name, last name, phone number, email. It just allows the data to sync easier, and it doesn't have any hiccups there. Next thing you're going to do is under privacy, you'll go ahead and plug in your privacy policy. You can find that from your kvCORE website, from your own domain. There's going to be a privacy link at the bottom of your page. Click privacy, copy and paste that privacy link in, and then you're going to add in your website's address at the bottom. So you can update this to however you want. What I recommend driving it to either your website or to a calendar to book an appointment with you, and you can adjust and change this messaging as needed. Now, once we've gone ahead and gotten done and we've completed the form, you want to make sure that your pixel is turned on, and then you have a pixel in place, and then all you're going to do is click publish down here. Now, really quick, just to show you guys, I'm going to pull this off the screen. I want to give you guys an idea of what you could expect running these ads on Facebook and what kind of price ranges you can see for those leads that are coming in. And this is a client of mine that has given me permission to share whenever I need to, whenever I would like to. They've been with us for about 2 years. Awesome guy. So 1 second as I pull that up. Okay, so I'm gonna move this over. So this is Manny Barrios is one of our agents that we work with that is over in Four Corners, Florida. So he is just south of Orlando. So we can see that we've had one of these ads that we're running that was an IDX listing ad. We've got 128 leads on this one. We've got 827 leads here. As we scroll over, we can see our cost. $1.69 per lead on the 827 leads, $3.44 per lead on 128. This one at 81, $3.80 per lead, all the way up. And then we are running some listing ads for him now as well, which definitely work in a little bit different way. But that is how you would go ahead and set up, create a catalog in kvCORE with all of the available listings from your brokerage, and then create an ad in Facebook so that you can start running those. There's a couple of additional steps that you're going to want to know. You need to set up Zapier to connect the two from Facebook to kvCORE. You want to make sure that you add in hashtags, which will automate your saved search alerts. And you guys can learn how to do that through beknownuniversity.com, or you can reach directly out to us and book an appointment, and we can do it for you. Also, we have a special running right now with Be Known University through Mike Devlin, and I'm sure that he provided the link to you guys with this, but we are only charging $50 a month for agents that are within EXP or that see this training to go ahead and learn how to do kvCORE setup and Facebook advertising setup. We've got about 30 courses that are in there for that $50 a month, and we add new content every couple of weeks. We just got done shooting some videos for Mailbox Power, so that would be awesome for you guys to learn a little bit more about going ahead and setting up the right mailer campaigns and getting those in place. But that should about cover it for now. Do we have any questions? I think you're on mute, Mike.
Sorry about that. I'm moving things around. Yes, so there is a question about how do you add background music to your ad using Facebook stock music or your own music?
I personally don't like to add any kind of background music to your ad. Most of the time when folks are scrolling through Facebook, they aren't usually in a place where they are listening to music in the background, and this is most cases. So I don't add sound personally, but you can do that through, I would actually do that through your own medium. If you're creating a video to run, I would add that music in through a third party over Facebook. So I don't recommend it though.
Okay. Any other, you must have done a good job, so I don't have any other questions right now.
That or I bored everyone to death.
Let's move on. No, they're still here. You know, we have the snore button isn't on for anybody. Let's give it a second, see any more questions. What would be a good, here we go. I'm having trouble sizing my too many windows. What would be a good seller ad for a new agent who doesn't have any listings?
A good seller ad for a new agent that doesn't have any listings, if you're using, first it depends on which platform you are using. If you're with Keller Williams, you will want to purchase the upgraded website options that you have through Command, so that way you can run What's My Home Worth and have a widget that's built in for home valuation. If you are with kvCORE or with a brokerage that offers kvCORE, they have a section pre-built into your website that will provide individuals with a home valuation. I'd run a simple ad, What's My Home Worth? And from that what's my home worth ad, I would drive them to a landing page. Facebook no longer allows you to enter address in a Facebook lead form, and they'll ban your account if you ask for it. So you want to drive those individuals to a lead page, and I'd have them take a quiz where you find out how many beds, baths, their home has, the square footage, if they've had any upgrades. You also want to find out find out what their address is, of course, and then see if they've even contacted or worked with an agent. But I would drive them to an individual landing page where they can fill out their info and get a home valuation report from you. The most important thing to keep in mind is that your follow-up is going to determine your results. So you can have 100 leads that come in. If you don't have good follow-up, you're going to swing and miss on every single one of them. So I recommend making sure that you've got texts, emails, you're calling those leads, you're creating videos and sending out video texts and emails, and really giving as much meat and potatoes to those leads as humanly possible. I'd even send emails with seller's guides. I would send them with checklists. I would give them tons of materials and resources so that they want to work with you.
All right, just a second, I'm copying a few things for people. So for everybody, first of all, if you want to check out some of the programs that are available, and then can you chat, Brian, easily?
I didn't see, for some reason, I'm not seeing the questions that are being asked.
All right, the reason I'm just, there, people are asking for your contact information, which I'm working on. Just give me a second or two to find an email that has your contact information in it, which I'm having.
Leads to ROI.com/booknow will get you into a position where you can book an appointment with us and ask questions. We do have staff on hand to answer questions for Be Known University. Anybody that's joined and is going through the courses, we do have a 15-minute appointment that anyone that's in that university can book. We want to make sure that you guys learn the materials. So it's not like we just charge $50 and then you got to figure it out on your own. If you have questions, be sure to ask. Most of the clients that we have that use Be Known University as well will typically end up working with us under some other median as an advertising agency. We're more than happy to assist everybody with their questions and problems they have. I've got one student that I've personally been on with once a month for the last year and a half, and we do typically a 15 to 30-minute session each time and just make sure everything's dialed in. So we do provide some pretty awesome support on those.
All right, and of course, for those of you that are looking, I just don't have your information handy right now to paste it in.
I just sent it to organizers, so you should be able to see it, but for some reason, it won't let me send it to everyone.
Well, okay, to organizer. All right, I see that. And of course, you could maybe just, Google search Be Known University, and you might even find it. I think I've texted it to everybody.
Definitely, and I'm going to display it here on the screen as well. Is my screen still sharing, right?
Yeah.
So leads to ROI.com/booknow is our main website where you guys can go and book an appointment. We've got 15-minute consultations for if you want to have us do services for you, 30-minute consultations, or a free Be Known University session for those that are in Be Known University, so that we can be sure to help guide you through any hiccups that you have when you're trying to do it yourself.
Okay, great. Anyhow, and I do have your phone number and that sort of thing. If you want me, I can paste that into.
I prefer email. I get a lot of calls as it is.
All right, so I'll give them your email address. Or is it okay? All right. Well, I think I've already done that. I will make sure. We don't want them bugging you all the time. All right, guys. All right, so I think we're getting close to wrapping it up. By the way, between the two platforms, since you've had a lot of experience with both KW Command and kvCORE, what's your overall impression about which is more effective or works better? Do you have can you pass judgment on that?
I do. I definitely prefer kvCORE over Keller Williams Command. I think they're both great platforms, but as far as functionality goes and what you can automate as an agent, I just feel that anything that you can take off of your workload and take off of your plate makes your life so much easier. So with kvCORE, we can automate save search alerts. We can automate the follow-up, which you can also automate the follow-up in Command, but there's just so many additional things that you can automate inside of that platform. It has less bugs, it has less kinks. It works much more smoothly. So I highly recommend kvCORE. It is an awesome platform, and we even have our own CRM, and I still recommend them. They're great.
Cool. And if anybody out there who doesn't have kvCORE but would like to find out how you could have that wrapped into a small monthly fee, just reach out to me and let's set a time to talk about that. All right, that's all that I've got. I want to thank everybody for participating today, particularly Brian and me, because without us, what would you be doing? We're going to have more stuff scheduled in the future. You guys are on the list. We'll let you know. We'll both reach out to you, so we'll be in contact relatively quickly. Have a great day out there. Hey, everybody, stay safe. Bye now.